Alright, I have to make a video right now just because there is a lot of stuff that I've been thinking of as far as arm wrestling goes. The thing is, we need to figure out what's going on with our reffing. Long story short, I trust Hristo Delajakov. I trust all the other refs, some more than others, but we need to figure out our reffing. I've been watching some of the old matches from East versus West, some of the stuff from some of the older events like 4 and 5, 6, some of those older ones. And the biggest difference from those to now is just the severity and the strict level of calls. Like, I feel like a lot of the referees have been making more calls and more unnecessary calls. This is all about Michael's match with Vitaly. Before I get into this, and before it sounds like I'm just one of these guys who just wants to defend Michael and say, well, he should have won and all this stuff, I'm not. Because what shows it is the fact that there were 2 revised calls in his match. 2 of them. 2 of them where the match was underway. Vitaly and Michael were both getting their position, fighting each other, and then suddenly a call is made. Michael says that the call was wrong and makes them review it, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I guess that didn't happen. All right, well, let's restart. To the point where it ended up with 5 separate restarts for round 1. 5 starts for round 1. That's more than the match should have overall, and it was all in the first round. That is absolutely absurd. There's been a lot of talk. Ray has called out some ideas. He has talked about how we should limit the amount of time somebody can ask for a recall, because ultimately that's what this is all about. And I think that I have a good solution to this. Ultimately, what recalls are all about, it is not the amount of recalls that are given. It is not about compensating for any possibility of the direction change in the match. So like if somebody had a good position and then a call was made that made them lose their position for the next restart, like compensation for that. Like, I don't think that's where the focus should be. The focus is time. Ultimately, what I believe, whatever the ref says, and there's a reason why there's 2 of them, the refs have to agree on a call, and whatever the ref calls should stand. But if the athlete wants to call for a recall or a review of the round and tell them to try to remake sure that that call was correct, because they don't like that the call was made. They don't think that it was a foul. They don't think that it should have been a warning or a pin. Give an athlete an infinite number of recalls. They can call for a review of the round whenever and however they want. But what I would say is this: make sure that we are not giving the athletes an unfair amount of time to recover while the call is being made. Because what has happened in the past, and what happened last week in the King of the Table event, was when they were revising the call, it took them over 5 minutes at a time to revise the call. That should not happen. That should not happen. What we need, off to the side of the stage, we need a camera or multiple screens from different angles, all replaying that same round, all at the point where the call was made, so that the refs can both gain an idea of where the call was. Athletes should not be able to watch the review with the referees. Only the referees should be able to watch the screen, because they are the only ones who should be able to make the call. The athletes should have 0 say other than asking for a recall. And I think what we should do is 1 minute time limit. So as soon as the person says, I don't think that was a foul, I don't think that was a pin, review it. Referees, within 10 seconds, head to the side of the stage and immediately be looking at the screen so that they can make the call. After 1 minute of reviewing, if the call has not been revised, the previous call that was put into question stands. So whatever the call was that was being challenged, it stands if the referees within 1 minute do not agree that the call should not have been made. If the call is revised, get the restart. We can work out some situations of what advantage should be given, if any, or if it should just be a restart, because it is unfair. Like, Michael had some good positions, like in round 1, where he was getting A-side with Vitali and gaining good positions and moving around and rising, climbing. But then they call an elbow foul to restart the match, or a declined humerus. Here's the thing. This happens most often with Devon and Micheal. You can see it with Devon's rematch with Gennady. You can see it with all of Michael's matches, with his match with Gennady, his match with Hermes, his match with Vitali. Micheal and Devon are two people that the refs, I believe, are predisposed to have, like, just, they need to make the call before it happens. Rebecca and Michael Todd have talked about this recently, and I agree with them. There is a preconceived notion that what Devon's going to do in his matches, he is going to cheat in the setup, therefore we need to award warnings and fouls like crazy. This frustrated me so much with Devon's match with Gennady at East vs. West 16, because Gennady was doing a bunch of the same questionable things, but only Devon was getting warned for it. And it came down to, there were a lot of warnings that were so strict. It came down to the matter of, they come to the table, Devon, square your shoulders. Devon, square your... One warning, like, give him time. Give him time to square up his shoulders. Like, don't say, hey, Devon, square up your shoulders. Oh, he's not doing it. Warning. Foul. Like, don't do that. Give the athletes time. Meanwhile, Gennady's over here, and when a foul is awarded to Devon for moving in the setup, Gennady was somebody who just takes the strap buckle, undoes it, and then walks back to his corner to recover. We need to crack down on athletes directing the match. Athletes should not direct the match whatsoever. We need to crack down on this. Athletes during a match cannot touch the strap, cannot influence the direction of the match in any way. That is for the refs to do. The athletes, all they are there to do is wait for the ref's call to say go, and then go. Arm wrestle. Do not touch the strap, and do not try to influence the direction of the match. We need to crack down on that, because athletes have done that in the past, where they assume what the call means, and they undo the strap and go back to their corner. What if the call meant, all right, warning or foul, now let's go right now? But now the athlete has taken off the strap. Now, even if he wasn't supposed to do that, now the referees still have to reposition the strap and stuff. Like, there's a whole bunch of things we need to talk about, but those are some of the main things. Devon and Micheal, what the referees always do is they have it in their minds leading up to that match, they're going to try to cheat. They're going to be in unfair positions. We need to make calls. And then whenever Michael's hand is within a millimeter of the pad, whenever his elbow is within a millimeter of going out, whenever his arm is in a neutral position or maybe looks like it could be going below, immediately they foul him. That is unfair. That is not fair. What Rebecca had suggested to Michael was, we should call for a different set of refs for your match to make sure that there is no bias. And what bias means is it's just the refs are thinking of awarding fouls only really to Michael because Michael is the one who ends up in unfair positions sometimes. That would kind of work, but I think we just need to crack down on things more, you know? Like, I'm sure you guys understand the same things. I think that would be a good way to revise the calls for reviewing calls. Give it 1 minute, and if the call is not reviewed within 1 minute and revised, the foul stands, or the pin stands, whatever the call is. I think that's absolutely fair. And then the other thing, do not, as a referee, for any athlete and for any reason, have a preconception that they are going to end up cheating or being in unfair positions, and have it in your mind that you're going to award fouls and warnings like crazy, because that is unfair and that is just ridiculous. That's what I think we need to crack down on. Hopefully we get the ref stuff straightened out, because that is something that has been very important the last few events. But overall, I'm very excited. Another thing I really quickly want to talk about, we are still waiting for the announcement of some of these opponents. We know that Michael is going to have an opponent at East versus West 18. I'm going to really quickly tell you some athletes I think could be his opponent. Number 1, David Dedican. I don't think that this is a really big possibility, but I think it is possible. Number 2, Tobias Sprong. Eastern European, top 15, and pretty dominant on the right arm, pretty good on the right arm. I think that could absolutely be a match. The only reason why I think that this next guy is more likely is because, Tobias, his last opponent was Corey West. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for him to beat Corey West, who's top 15, top 20 on the right arm, and then suddenly jump to Michael, who's ranked number 5 in the world. That makes no sense. I think 100% it's Georgi Zaranov. Eastern European. His last match was on the left arm, meaning he should be relatively fresh on the right arm. Yes, he is very far away from Michael in terms of the rankings, but still, the thing is, Georgi Zaranov has fought Vitaly. He's fought Kamil. He's fought a lot of the best in the sport, meaning he would most likely, I think he's the most likely athlete to be paired up against Michael for East versus West 18. I think that's going to be the match. We'll see. It's looking like it's going to be a good card. Another match that I really hope they put on the card is Alajan versus David Dedican. If that is a match on the card, this is going to be really interesting, because I think that's a match that everyone wants to see at this point. Some people are calling for Alajan to fight Vitaly, and that is way too long of a call. That is way too much of a long shot, because Vitaly is super heavyweight world titleist, and Alajan has gone up against so few super heavyweights that to jump him up to the highest level of super heavyweight would be that would be a mismatch. Because when you look at it, Alajan's only faced Cody Merritt and Hermes Gasparini on the left arm for super heavyweight. Those are the only super heavyweights he's faced. That is it. So to give him the greatest super heavyweight right now would be a big mismatch. Give him Dedican. Similar styles, similar abilities. We'll see how that match goes. We'll see how this event goes. I assume they're going to drop tickets pretty soon. I assume they're going to make some match announcements pretty soon, and I am super, super excited for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, what you think the referee situation should be, and I'll be sure to make more videos soon. Thanks for watching.